be with you in this many minutes. Give us a sec. Okay, now we can go. Grab yourself a cup of tea, grab yourself some coffee. We'll be with you any minute, just still setting up. New sheets. Who knew? So, it might be a good question on why are we showing you all of the setup, and that's because we just want to include you in part of the behind the scenes of everything, really, of like things like this, things like this, and also things like this. So yeah, be with you very soon, but as you can see, we've still got setup to do, so. Cool, I think we're ready to go, so see you there. Hello everyone, welcome to our second live stream. My name is Paul Sørstad. I am the creator and the director of Testament, which is the live stream that you are joining on to right now. I always wear this because it's the beginning of that kind of thing, but look at that, Angel t-shirt. I got this t-shirt when visiting the guys over at Angel. They were really nice enough to give me a few, so showing it off today. Really great to have you. Just a big welcome to all our kind of Angel fans who are joining us for our live stream. Big hello to all the Raw Light fans who are joining us for our live stream, and big hello to all our Testament fans who are joining this live stream. Today we've got a really good live stream, I think, show put together for you. We are exploring today biblical wonder. We're exploring what it means to retell stories in a modern setting. As you may or may not know, Testament is the show that is going to retell the story of the book of Acts, starting from the day of Pentecost, following the stories and characters of Stephen, Peter, Mary Magdalene, Saul, Gamaliel. But the twist is we're doing it in an alternate modern day, in a modern setting. So today we're going to be speaking to a theologian, a doctor, Hugh Osgood, who's going to be chatting to me about the benefits and also some of the dangers about what it's like when we modernize some of these stories, what it can do for us, but also what to watch out for. And then there's a little video which is going to be from some of our team. Oh, bless you! I saw we just got some expressed interest. Thank you so much, and some comments which I didn't quite catch on my screen here because it's frozen. Sorry, so I can't read it all the way over there, but I will see it later. Shalom from New Orleans. Amazing. Oh, New Orleans. Oh, that's great. Hello, New Orleans. And then we're going to have a little video from the writers, us three talking about what the benefits and why we kind of made this jump into the modern day, why we did it from Lisbon, Portugal. Hello. This is great. All sides of the world. This is very cool. From Texas. Hello. This is amazing. And then we're going to finally talk to one of the actresses who appeared in the film that we did last year that we are basing the series off. An actress, a phenomenal actress who played Mary Magdalene. I'm going to be speaking to her about what it's like artistically bringing an ancient character to life in modern day settings. It's going to be a really great show, but for now, I'm not going to talk much more other than to say, if you want to see this series made, I implore you, head over to angel.com/testament to express your interest. That's what we're doing right now. We're gauging interest to how many of you want to see this show happen. And so when we do open an investment round, you can actually get a share of the show. You can invest into the series. But for now, head over to angel.com. Veronica, oh, bless you. That's $500 expressing interest. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. But for now, do have a look at our torch. It's a little short clip from the film that we made last year that actually features Paulette playing Mary Magdalene. Enjoy.
You all right?
I'm not used to all this running and hiding. It puts me on edge.
Did you enjoy the meeting, though?
Yeah, it was good. And nice of you to include that story for the children at the end.
Well, actually, that was more for the adults in the room.
Really?
Yeah. What did you make of it?
Well, it was the sowing.
Mm-hmm.
And the seeds?
The sowing of the... You didn't understand it?
No, I didn't.
That's okay. To be honest, we didn't understand it the first time you told it. No, he had to explain it to us afterwards in private.
So wait, Jesus would tell this story to everyone?
Oh, he told loads of stories. He talked like that all the time. He'd leave half of his listeners baffled, enrage the ministers, and then leave us to figure out what those stories meant.
But why?
Why what?
But why teach with stories? Doesn't that make everything confusing?
I mean, you should know, right? That's what you're doing, writing his story.
No. This is for a friend back home. A report, more of a report. Words, the facts.
Okay, can I give you some advice? Facts are good. And words, they can impact a moment. But a story, a really good story, that can change a life. Go on, it's just a bit further. Way.
Truth.
Life.
You have a warehouse? How?
Generous donation from the Barnabas family. Have you met James before?
As in Jesus' brother? Yeah, briefly when we first arrived.
They're all waiting at the council room. James is getting worried.
Understandably.
Hi there.
Zach. Luke, good to meet you.
Just through there.
Should I?
Yes!
I managed to evacuate before the guards got there.
What about Ben's gathering?
No word yet.
Mary, glad to see you okay.
Any news on what happened today?
I'm still trying to get a full picture, but they hit us hard. 4 safe houses breached, another 20 arrested.
We've lost the majority of the food banks in the city centre.
Why now?
I'm still riled up from Paul's antics at the temple.
No, that was days ago.
Truth is, we don't know. Our contacts at the ministerial council aren't responding. Everything seems to be in some kind of lockdown.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Unless Paul's given us up.
He would never do that.
Wouldn't be surprising, would it? Given his history.
Deborah, bringing up people's
James,
history.
the last time Paul was here, in this very room, he almost split the church. I'm sorry, but I still don't trust the
It wasn't him.
And you are?
Sorry. Hi.
We've met. You travelled with Paul, came with him to the capital last week.
Luke.
That's right.
Of course he's going to say
Deborah,
what.
please. Well, do you know what's going on?
Maybe. When I was hiding, I heard some of the temple guards talking. It sounded like they were searching for someone in particular. The fisherman.
Clear. It's empty. They knew we'd come here.
No sign of the fisherman, sir. He's not here.
Move on. We keep looking. He can't have gone far.
If he's here, we need to know. Mary, make contact with the remaining safe houses, see if they know anything, find him.
Do you need to come with?
You'll stay here, Luke.
Yeah, I'll see you again, yeah? God willing. Take care. James, keep it up. Don't forget to eat.
Deborah, you and I need to go over strategy for replenishing food supply. David, you're on lookout tonight. And Luke, welcome. Zach will show you where you're staying. Try and get a few hours of sleep. You never know what God has planned for tomorrow.
I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone here seems so confident.
Hey, welcome back, guys. So that was a short clip from the movie Testament that we made last year, which serves as the basis for what we are doing the series on. So the movie was a little bit different. It was actually it was set 20 years after the resurrection of Jesus, following our lead character of Luke, the writer of the Gospel of Luke and the Book of Acts, as he encounters Jesus' disciples, and they tell stories. The stories that he told, and he's grappled by the idea of Jesus as a storyteller, which in our film kind of encourages him to be the writer that he is called to be. And of course, the world is blessed for his work. So yeah, if you do again want to see this series, if you do want to see it, then head over to angel.com/testament and express your interest. Right now, we're gauging interest for the making of the full series. We want to make a multi-season show that retells the Book of Acts, starting from the day of Pentecost onwards, but in a modern setting. And we'll talk all about that, why and why not, and the dangers of, and the benefits of. So I'm very blessed and very honoured to be joined by a very dear friend, a mentor, and someone who's very well respected in the UK, Dr. Hugh Osgood. Hello, Hugh.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Great. So now I'm going to do a little bit of one of the things that you find embarrassing. I'm going to talk about you.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to say a little bit about who you are and what you've done. So you are a national church leader here in the UK. You have just stepped down from being the Free Churches moderator, which, if I'm right, you kind of look over and represent all the denominations that aren't Anglican or Catholic here in the UK, pretty much. President of Churches Together in England. And your history has been working with independent churches, giving them a voice here in the UK, facilitating them to be the church that they want to be and feel called to be, and have worked with some incredible people over, states-wise. You've helped the Billy Graham campaign over here in 1989, which was a couple of years before my time, but only a couple. And have I missed something, Hugh? I'm sure I have.
No, I don't think you have, but that'll do. The funny thing is that when I was working with Billy Graham in '89, I had this real thing that he should record the teaching material that we were all using for the sort of follow-up. And he'd never, ever done that before. And I had to persuade him to actually make these films. And somewhere in the archives at Charlotte, these films of Billy Graham that I persuaded him to make of his follow-up material. So,
amazing.
So I've been persuading people to do film for a long time.
Yeah, you have. Oh, of course. And you're also involved in the starting of God TV and Revelation TV, some Christian TV channels. So you've been doing this a little, some time.
Yeah, you mentioned the independent church sector, but really I've been seeking to mobilize the church right across the board. I think for probably about 50 years now. So it's been a big passion. Just want to see the church mobilized.
And, since I've got to know you, I've been hugely blessed to know you for the past, 6 years, I think, roughly. And what's struck me as well, and been very privileged for me, is how much you've got alongside kind of what I felt God's called me to do. As I work alongside you, you have really tried to help alongside me and just guide me and help me, and just any sort of advice or encouragement. It's just been amazing. But you from early on, even when I showed you the first short film that we did, which was, we actually did, oh bless, we've just had $150 expressed interest from Washington. Thank you so much. But I showed you early on, yes, head over to angel.com/testament to do the same. Sorry, I keep forgetting to mention that. But when I showed you early on our first little cut of, we retold the Good Samaritan, the pilot version, before the proper version that we've done now, you got the heart of what I was trying to do and what I wanted to do. So tell me about retelling these stories in a modern age. The New Testament, and it is an ancient Jewish text. So let's start with the benefits. What are the benefits? Why should we retell these stories?
Well, it's a communication factor, isn't it, really? It's being able to take what was there and then and put it in the here and now in a way that people can understand. There are dangers to it, but the big plus is that it catches people's attention. I think that's really exciting. And I think that when I saw what you were doing initially with the parables, I remember asking you, I said, these aren't the parables explained, are they? And you said, no, they're the parables retold.
Yeah, different.
And I think once I'd got that in my mind, I really could see where you were going with it. And it's just been so exciting to see that happen. And then to see how you actually framed that by bringing the story of Luke, getting to grips with putting the gospel together, really excited me. And, you brought some good scholarship into that as well, checking out where John Mark was ahead of Luke and putting it together, how the gospels fitted together. So I thought there was some good thinking that had gone into that, which I really appreciated.
On a side note, it was actually really fun to do, to actually map out, you read this, the New Testament. I remember reading Acts, I think, quite early on in my Bible reading life, and then reading some of the epistles, and then figuring out, oh my goodness, this is where it fit in. And this is, you suddenly start to piece this puzzle together, and it's so exciting.
I know,
like,
it's exactly what thrills me. So if I'm teaching, anything from the Bible, I really just love to sort of put it all together in that kind of way. And the books that I've written tend to be on that kind of style too, how it all fits, and just makes me excited, just brings the big picture alive, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if you were to give us some advice, what are the cautions? What should we be aware of when retelling these stories, when modernizing these stories?
Well, I think the things that you can do when you modernize a story is you can bring out some of the nuances that are there that easily get missed. So I know I've seen things where people have sort of reenacted the nativity into a current situation, and you suddenly realize when they do that what poverty is and what the issues were, which get glossed over when we're sort of sentimentalizing it by looking at it in the past. So there's something about a reality check that comes when you show it in a sort of updated pattern that is really good. I think some of the dangers of it, particularly when you're looking at the issues around the incarnation and the death and resurrection of Jesus, sometimes people can get the idea, oh, wouldn't that be nice if that happened now? And of course, in that situation, that isn't going to happen now. And it's the sense of it happened then, and it happened then in a way that makes a difference for us now. But I think when you come to the book of Acts and everything that sort of follows on from it, and I was listening to what you said last week about, the book of Acts continues and we're still rewriting it. And I was just thinking to myself, are we rewriting it or are we rerunning it? And that was something that really struck me, because one of the reasons I'm so excited about the thought of Testament being made and all of this getting out there is that I know that the church has been transformed when it's looked at the first century church. And, I just opened my Bible at that verse in Acts 2, where Peter's preaching on the day of Pentecost. And when he's finished his message, he says this: the promise is for you and your children and all who are far off, for all whom the Lord our God will call. So in other words, he's saying, look, just rerun it, guys. It's not just to the people here now, but it's going to be for your children. Not that they're going to be God's grandchildren, because God doesn't do grandchildren, but it's a fresh start in every generation. And so I just really excited at the thought about people today thinking, wow, what happened then can happen now. And okay, there are going to be some tension points for some people, because they're going to say, well, we don't want the persecution bit. Well, no one wants the persecution bit. But what comes through in the whole of the book of Acts and the whole of the New Testament is that when Jesus said, I'll build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it, you can see him building the church. And the momentum and the sense of movement is just incredible. And I've been going around the world, for years now, trying to persuade the church that we're meant to be a movement, not something that's stagnant. Right. And yet in some places I find it's a bit of a job to shift it. But I'm excited because I think what you're doing could actually give it a big push and make people think, yeah, God can do it again. And that's what we need to see.
I think that, you said it exactly right. When we're, especially when I preach, I try and communicate, and bring congregations into, okay, psyched to get this started. So am I. But I'm always trying to, get congregations to try and imagine themselves in these circumstances. Imagine if you were, a Meshach or Abednego, or if you were David at this thing, or, what happens when your eye wanders to Bathsheba, let's humanize and let's actually bring these stories into life. And, it's a job sometimes on a Sunday morning to do that. And I think the hope for this series is to just reflect it back to people and kind of make it clear, like, this could be you, or you can see yourself in this person, or, when you relate to Peter's struggle of leadership, or Stephen's want of, doing something impactful for the early church.
And I think what you've just said is really interesting, because, when you're trying to persuade people, on a Sunday morning that this could be you, there's a sense in which I want people to understand this is you, this is where you're at. Yeah. But the difference is you've got stuck in it. With them, they came out of it. They knew that the life that they got in Jesus was resurrection life. And you just think of the number of times that Paul got knocked down. But every time he got knocked down, he got up again. And it's trying to get people to realize that in the whole of the book of Acts, there's this incredible momentum in the power of the Holy Spirit that no matter what happens, there's an ability to rise up. When when Paul gets stoned, and the believers gather around him, he's on his feet again and goes on into the next city. And it's to get that kind of spirit back in the church, where we've got that kind of energy and that momentum, is something that really excites me. And I think bringing this up to date in the way that you present it.
$1,000 of expressed interest from Lisa from Texas. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great. That's really amazing. Good. Yeah, but I mean, this is what's so exciting about it. I just believe it's going to make a big, big difference.
Yeah, great. So a question I think for us then is to ask, where does the faithfulness to the text end and creativity begin?
I don't think the faithfulness to the text ever ends, because there's a sense in which you can be completely faithful to the text and yet bring a level of creativity that makes people realize what the text is actually saying. I think one of the things I've noticed, even when looking at what you've done so far, is that there was nothing I could say, oh, it wouldn't have happened like that. It could have happened like that. And the fact that you've shown it happening like that makes us think and actually bring it back into the kind of reality in which we're living.
Yeah. Okay, just a personal one. Which story in the book of Acts are you most interested in seeing on screen, modernized?
That's really interesting. I don't know. I think the first book I wrote was about John Mark. And so, I've followed his story in all sorts of ways, and the disappointment that he must have been to Paul, and then the fact that Barnabas takes him off and Paul brings him back. I think that whole business of sort of restoring John Mark, which is a subtext, is something which really fascinates me. And at the end of his life, Paul's able to say, bring him to me, he's useful to me. And I thought, that is a turnaround, because there was one point when he was anything but useful. And he was a little bit the spoilt boy I get in the Jerusalem church, Mummy had the big prayer meeting in her home. And,
right,
Peter regarded him as a son.
Yeah.
And he kind of expects Paul to treat him in the same way. But Paul says, I'm not taking that guy with me if he's behaved like that. And it's a reality check in his life. And I think it must have been big.
Oh, John M., $500 from Washington. Thank you so much. That's a real blessing. And a reminder, everyone, if you also want to express your interest, head over to angel.com/testament, and you can do exactly that. You can express your interest. And when we open an investment round, you can invest into the show and the film that's already made, but into the series that we're going to make, which we are super excited about. I really enjoyed exploring John Mark, particularly in the film version. So in the film you only get so many minutes, really. So I'm quite excited in this series to be able to take the pace that I think is required, to explore some of those relationships, those breakdowns, those hopes dashed. And
well, some people, you read the book of Acts and you think, well, that must have happened in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you miss the fact that there's a whole chunk where Paul is missing from the record because he's off in his home area, doing just what you wouldn't do, which is to go where you don't get any respect amongst your own people. He goes back there and he ministers, almost like disappears from view for at least 7-8 years. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's I've said
you're not going to take that long to make the.
No. I think if we waited 6 years between every season, it might be a little bit. Someone said, I appreciate the discussion of the benefits and challenges of this kind of storytelling. Yeah. Oh, great. I'm glad, and it's something that really I want to carry on doing. Hugh has agreed as well to be part of our biblical roundtables, which is something that we're going to do later on. We're going to bring some more scholars in, have some discussions about our scripts, have some discussions about the film and episodes when we make them, just to keep this conversation going, just to keep it live. I think one thing that's important, as you said earlier, the faithfulness to the text never ends, and as we have to be held accountable for that, and to be let our creativity be guided by the text. And guided by historical suggestions. And
well, there's plenty of scope, isn't there? The whole of the book of Acts, and when you start bringing in the New Testament epistles and everything else, and so you've got the full picture, it's just so complete. The relationships and you just get a feel for the characters and what they must have been like.
I mean, I remember you just did a teaching series on Galatians that we've been working on, and it was so good actually to hear you do it in such detail, because I was like, hold on, this letter just feels like it is taken from the book of Acts. It's so narrative based, and it gives you so much behind the scenes of everything that happens. It was, I don't know, it was really good when you did it, and I just sat there listening and going, oh, this is really filling in the picture. It was really
Well, this is very much a mutual relationship. I get stuff off you too, Paul. So you're allowed to borrow from me because I get the payback.
I'm glad, and I feel very blessed that I get to do that. Thank you so much, Hugh. Any final words of wisdom for us today?
Just make sure this thing happens. I just so want it to happen. I think it's really important for the church just to be looking at that first century church again, and to realize that that's exactly what God wants us to be doing now, a movement that can make a difference globally, no matter what the circumstances are around us.
Great. Thanks, Hugh. Okay, guys, so what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to show you a short video, but head over to angel.com/testament so you can express your interest in making this series happen. We're super excited. I'm super excited. Dr. Hugh over here is super excited. So we're all super excited. So do head over there. But right now, I'm going to show you a conversation between Faith, Kenneth, and myself with the writers on Testament, talking a little bit about when we made the film, people's reaction to it, and why we think modern retellings have its place in today. Enjoy.
What was also amazing was for me watching it and going, and as someone who's grown up on a lot of faith films, watching it and being like, oh my gosh, this is honestly, truly nothing compared to what people are expecting to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we know we've done the good thing, the right job, I think.
It was different.
It was so different.
And
like,
it has
even
to be
the
different,
action
'cause it's a
scenes
different time.
and like the action scenes and like credit to like your direction and also the DOP.
Andy, amazing.
Just my goodness. But like some of the shots, man, you don't see those shots in the faith film.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
what's really funny is like everyone talks about that winding shot.
Yeah.
But what's funny is me and Andy were chatting, and we were talking about different kinds of shots during production, during that day actually, the chase. And I was talking about Black Panther and how there's that epic moment where
I was there.
Yeah, so when Michael B. Jordan walks to the throne and the whole world turns upside down because something's changed. And I said to Andy, since I've seen that film and since I've seen that shot, the amount of things I've seen do it since then, you know, everybody's doing it. Ha ha ha.
Let's do it.
And then, no, I didn't even say that. It was this moment that Andy was at the bridge and went, Paula, I think we've got a chance. And I was like, I don't know. At that point, you can't resist. You're like, yep,
really
we're going
epic.
for it. So it was, but that was when we dropped the trailer. That was a really cool. I mean, the trailer took quite a while to.
When did we drop that trailer? The first time you made it a while before.
Made a version
before it came out.
I want to say March.
That's when we dropped it, but it was.
Yeah.
We had it for quite a while, so it was really weird because it was like a little secret because we knew we had something.
Oh yeah, because I was showing people like on my phone.
And everyone would be like, "Oh, what's it?" And
It was in the rushes, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and that
This is
shot.
it,
The rushes were amazing.
But it was more when we released the trailer about people's responses of, you know, people who aren't Christians, people who don't believe, people who don't, you know, aren't.
You just want to watch something good.
Fun, It was their excitement of going, this looks great, this looks awesome, this looks exciting, but you know, our mission was to try and produce something that might be exciting for people who don't know the church, who don't know the story, and a nice way of introducing them. So to have this kind of exciting, action-packed, you know, trailer, and people to go, I want to see this. That got me so excited.
And honestly, like, I know this is for all of us. We genuinely were all getting messages on like social media, just being like, "What is this? How can I see this?" People that like had no clue what this was like. They literally like saw that trailer and the amount of interest we got from like just normal people was incredible.
That was what was cool. People were interested. And,
it was mad.
And we've been, you know, we've been doing this for years.
Yeah, I know.
We've been doing this for years.
Trying to get people's
being
interest,
like, And, you know, just be like, oh, we're just off making it, like, we're just doing this, and people are supportive, but they're not quite interested, which is fine, you know. And what was really weird was to be able to present work that interested people. And I guess that's kind of what we're trying to do. That's the whole point of making film that is a modern retelling of biblical text, is you're trying to get people interested, you're trying to give them access into something that they've never quite had before, because it is not honestly, like, if you really look at these stories in the Bible, they are the most human stories, but people don't see them that way. And so what we're trying to do is humanize these different characters, show all their insecurities, show all their fears, show all their flaws, show the beautiful moments, and just make them real people. And that is, I think, why people connected so quickly. It wasn't just fables in which people would just like, and the moral of the story is, you know, it was real people, and people being able to say, and I know even later on when they watched it, just going, I never saw it that way, or I've never understood it that way. And I think what you did with the parables, what we did with the parables was really amazing. But the heart at the center of what we do is to just make people go, I never saw it that way. And now I see it. And if people can just see it, you know, and then they can make up their own minds after that. But I just want, at least they'll be able to say, I understand, you know, and then you can make an informed decision.
Or even, I mean, or at the same time, quite the opposite of going, this might challenge the way you think of it. So you just have to stop, relook, and actually might affirm what you already believe and disagree with, but just to challenge and to actually make it part of a conversation of going, hey, let's have a rethink. And I think that's sometimes a really strong thing to do.
To give everybody access to the conversation. And a lot of people do not. You know, not everybody speaks Christianese. Not everybody knows what a baptism of fire is. You know, so not everybody understands it. And you've got to just, you know, there's an amazing line. People might not understand it, but the way you describe the Holy Spirit in the film is so accessible. And just, you know, because people might not understand, but they will understand. Just listen, just for something small. And the way we do that, I'm really proud of something that just makes people understand, because that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We're trying to make sure that people don't feel separated from the gospel and feel like they can feel like it is for them, and feel like people who were like them were in it, you know?
And you, I know, Paul, you said from probably literally 5 years ago that when you planned to write this and make this, your number one goal, one of your main goals was to get people to go and want to read the Bible and want to look back at it. And I think from what I know and you know, people's responses to me, that's exactly what happened. And what was amazing is someone who had obviously seen it earlier and read some of these stories, I wanted to go back and look at these stories. I wanted to go back, and this is someone who does like read the Bible and does, but I was excited to go back and go, oh my gosh, how did Paul write this from this? Like, do you know what I mean? And, and so it was such a blessing, and it was so amazing to see it firsthand. Like, I felt like I had the best view, the best, like, do you know what I mean? It was like, and then I could also be like, I'm kind of a part of it as well. So like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I think I can say, I think we definitely accomplished that, which is amazing. But also kind of, it just spares us on to want to keep doing it, do you know what I mean? And keep getting people to want to read the Bible and understand it for themselves in a different way that maybe they couldn't understand it before. And I think these films are, you know, testament is just such an amazing way of doing that.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our little conversation between Faith Kenneth and myself. We're coming to a really cool part of our live stream today. We're going to be virtually joined by an actress, a phenomenal actress, who played the part of Mary Magdalene on our feature film that we filmed last year, which is serving as the inspiration for the series that we are going to be making and that we are expressing interest for now. Speaking of which, you can express your interest by heading over to angel.com/testament. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I thought that was quite a smooth transition for myself. Maybe I shouldn't have called that out, but anyway, I've done it now. So it is my absolute pleasure and privilege to welcome on Paulette P. Williams to join me to talk about... Hello, Paulette.
Hi. How are you?
So good to see you. Oh, I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm really just thankful that you can join us. It was, it's been, I don't think I saw you at the screening of the film, but previously to that, it was we've seen each other a few times at play, and then we've seen each other for the filming.
Yeah.
But Paulette, I remember watching your audition for Mary Magdalene. We had this kind of, we sent out these sides for you to send in, and you just kind of, the energy that you suddenly brought to her with this busyness and this focus and yet almost, distractedness. It was such a beautiful combination, and I just immediately was like, guys, I think we found our Mary, which I was so super excited about and so blessed that we actually got you on the film. I know everyone enjoyed watching that short clip that you were on. But I'd love to hear from your side. What is it like bringing a character like that, someone like Mary Magdalene, who, is an ancient historical character that we have, so many records of, who means so much to so many people, and bringing her into a modern alternate timeline?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for what you said. That means a lot to me. But Mary Magdalene, there's so many stories about her. And I think one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was the fact that she'd spent this time with Jesus and how much he'd touched her, and that she'd so committed her life to following his mandate. And I think that's where the kind of purposefulness came from with myself, with the audition and how I interpreted her character. So I just felt she'd lost, like, physically this person that she was basically living for. So all that was left now was to continue his mission. And so that's the thing with Mary. I was like, she's on a mission. She's got somewhere to be. She has a purpose. And then the other kind of things of bringing it into the modern day is thinking about the first century women, where they always have their hair or their heads covered. And then I wanted to make sure that we could bring it up to date, because I think one of the things that can sometimes get in the way of people really connecting with the Bible is the visual stuff, because they'll look at the costumes or the dress from that period, and there's a kind of a disconnect. So I thought about Mary, and I thought, well, the women always have their hair covered. And even now in the modern church, a lot of women don't go into church without wearing a hat. And I thought, how can I make that feel an extension of who I am, and culturally, and also just present day? And that's where the wrap came from. So I wanted to wrap my head. I was like, no, she's going to wrap her head. That's like my culture thing. And I think it would work. I know it sounds really bizarre. And then I think, because I'm a backpacker. Yeah, I'm a backpacker as well. And Mary, in how you wrote her, she's on the move. That the church is persecuted, right? So the church is, they're being persecuted at that time. So at any moment, she's picking up her bags to go somewhere. And as a backpacker myself, one of the things with a head wrap, your sarong, you use it for so many things. You use your sarong for a towel, use it for a sheet, use it for a tourniquet. If someone could have an injury. And it was all of those things. So dress-wise, they were one of the first things that I led with. And then, we talked about the combat boots and just being present day, just the physicality of Mary. And also, just as a church, we're thinking about it, we are, in some ways, at war, spiritually, not so much physically, here in the UK and the US, but there are lots of churches like in Nigeria, South and North Korea, that they're physically, being persecuted. And so that thing that we were on a mission and we were kind of like an army, and the combat boots, all of that sort of stuff kind of led into her physicality and the imagery of Mary.
Yeah, I mean, exactly right. I mean, we talk about persecution in the church, and I know, here in the UK and the US and many countries, we're actually very blessed in what we can do freely. Whereas, there are some, which is what I kind of want to reflect in this series and try to reflect a little bit in the film, is, there are some parts of the world where the book of Revelation doesn't feel like a prophetic book. It is something real that is happening right now for them in their present day, But I remember talking to our brilliant production designer, Toyasi, who kind of put together the look for this film. Was my thing to her was everything has to be utility based. Everything has to have a use. Everything and I remember you talking about the bag and kind of bringing this always with you. And we had that scene in the council. It's almost like a little moment offside, but you put one bag down, you pick another up, and you go. And that's almost that thing of the early church of, nothing was counted as theirs. It was just, this is to help. And you can pick one up, knowing that your brothers and sisters in Christ have sorted that, and you can off you go on your journey.
Yeah,
Which,
it's
I just love you'd already kind of brought all of that to it.
It was weird. So I think about civil rights.
$500 from Florida. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Think about things like the civil rights movement and people that were protecting the Jews and trying to save them during World War II and things like that. There is such a network, isn't there? You cannot stand alone in this, and as Christians, we shouldn't stand alone anyway. We have our extended families and our brothers and sisters in Christ, but it's that feeling of understanding that there's a network, and it's not just a network, it's like this is life and death. They put their lives on the line to get the word out there. As Christians, we're standing on some really mighty shoulders,
Yeah.
I
mean, you even think about the translation of the Bible into English, the people who did that were executed because it was such a power play of, the kind of medieval church to keep the text, and it had to be interpreted, or it had to be rather taught from the powers. So it's always been quite a dangerous thing to do, to try and bring it to the people.
And we don't.
But you've also we had a comment earlier. I don't know if you saw Paulette saying that that they really like this actress, and I'm just going to say so do I, and so does Faith. So that's great.
Thank you. So sweet.
But I know you also. I really enjoy. So Andy, the DOP for the film and for the series. I always like when he texts me now and again going, oh, by the way, I'm working with this person from our shoot. And I'm always like, of course you are, because I work with brilliant people. All of you are brilliant. And so I was no surprise that you two were working together on another thing where you brought Phoebe from the New Testament to life, but set in the first century. So you've kind of done this, biblical character, but set all the way back then. So what are the differeces and what are the challenges when doing something like that?
Well, I think first and foremost, obviously the attire, because I was wearing Hessian for a start, and like petticoats and like sandals, or we used to call them Jesus sandals when I was growing up. So that the leather ones with the open toe and that's strapped up. And then she had a head wrap on. So it was just really understanding the physicality of Phoebe that was so different, the restriction of her. Whereas with Mary, I felt just there was a breath in the physicality because of how we were dressed. And also Phoebe was also a traveler. But then I did a lot of reciting from Romans, and again that's biblical. It's the text is beautiful. We did the NIV version actually, and I think the difference between that and working with Mary, I think although you told the story within the story, you kept it so biblical with the, did I say that right? Biblical with the Testament, that it just felt like it was just another translation. It didn't feel like we had this script that had no context. It just felt like it could have just been another ESV or amplified. So yeah, it really felt like that. It really did feel like that. So I think, although I just loved playing both characters, the difference is one. I just think with Mary, I just felt more freedom. I think there was just more freedom in the text and just in the physicality of her. That's modern day.
I think, yeah, definitely. I think what playing Mary and someone like that into your modern day, because you're a woman of faith. You are, oh bless you, that just expressed interest for 150. How do you feel as a believer, as a follower of Christ, approaching these people? What is is there a feel of responsibility? Is there a feel of like a lay preacher? What kind of do you bring to it, in not just in your acting side, but on your follower of Christ side?
I think it's finding that connection. This is our purpose too as Christians, is to spread the word, and looking for any way that we can make a connection with people that haven't been saved. That feels like a responsibility. So when I get a project like this, that I see how we can bridge the gaps. I'm like, for example, I absolutely love The Chosen, and I spend my time like when I'm watching it thinking, oh, who can I show this to so they get it, so they get what he was like, and they understand the word, because it opens it up in a different way. But again, bringing this into the modern day, like the retelling of the book of Acts, the way that you want to do it, Paul. Again, it just opens up the audience. Because people that are non-Christians will sometimes look at something like The Chosen with all respect and just think it's something that doesn't relate to me. And just bringing it into modern times, but still keeping it so authentically the word. It just gives us an opportunity. Yeah, it's so key. It's so key. When I read the script for the Testament, and I think I spoke to you about that, and that's one of the things that really engaged me, that it was so key, and that word it's so alive that it's. I get very excited, but and I think that's what I do. I get super excited, and I think that's what it's about. How can we reach more people? Because that's our mandate too, right? Yeah, it is. It's a way of evangelism. I kind of see film and TV, maybe it will, but I don't see it as making disciples, but I definitely see it as casting seeds for the gospel that is just, or tilling ground in a way that just makes it easier for the next person who comes along to be able to water it, and for God ultimately to give the growth, because that's what it's about, really, isn't it, at the end of the day? Creativity in service of faithfulness. Love it. Yes, Corey. Me too. Paulette, thank you so much. It's been just an absolute wonder talking to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so lovely.
Well, you're a talent. You're a force to be reckoned with, and a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Take care. God bless.
God bless. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was Paulette, who played Mary in our film of Testament. She's awesome. Also wanted to give a couple of shout outs, because we had some incredible donations. We had someone express interest for $5,000 who remains anonymous. Thank you so much. And then Donna S expressed interest for $10,000. That is amazing. That's really, just beautiful. Thank you so much. If you also want to express interest, do head over to angel.com/testament. What we're doing right now is we're gauging the interest of you, the public, to see if you want to see the show be made. And what happens is when we reach that kind of level of people expressing interest, of amount kind of expressed, amount of dollars expressed as well, at that point we open up our investment round. And And we're back. Sorry guys, disruption there. Do you know what my favorite comment though was Gear saying, hanging on by the fingernails. Thank you. I hope your fingernails are all right, because mine are not. We're back. Thanks so much for bearing with us. A little bit of internet difficulties. You know how it is. We actually, at this very building, no word of a lie, there was one time that the internet completely went down because a fox chewed on a wire. Isn't that right, David? Happens. But we're back, and I think, as I was saying, you can express your interest over at angel.com/testament. And when we open up an investment round, when we've kind of gauged enough interest, enough people, and enough dollars expressed, then we will open up for investment, and you can invest in the show and own the show that we're going to make. However, moving on swiftly, right now we're going to show you a short video that was actually edited by one of our interns, an amazing girl called Eleanor, who did all our photography as well. But she wanted to just get involved in the project. Anonymous, $100. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. But part of our ethos is we always want to raise people up, bring people in, and allow them to just kind of learn and just get involved, hold the camera, try this, try that, get it wrong, feel free, get it right. So this is a short creative video about us as a company, Rawlight, from where we started to our journey up to making the feature film. And this is all made by our intern, and I'm incredibly proud of her, and she is amazing, and we were very, very blessed to have her. So this is her video, Faith Like a Mustard Seed. 47, take 1, take 2, 47, take 3. As long as it connects people to the parable of the sower, brings people back to the biblical text, and maybe gives them a fresh understanding of it, that would be amazing.
I just think the whole thing is blessing. I truly believe that it has like God's hand on it, and we're privileged to be a part of it and witness it.
It's just really amazing how sometimes you realise that you're capable of more than you thought you were, and here we are, and this is the 4th installment of the Parables series, and this is the 4th big project we've done, and things have just seemed to come together, and it's a bit random and weird and good and great and amazing. So I'm really proud, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful.
I always knew these films were going to be released together.
How good was that? I love it. I remember when she sent it to me the first time, I was like, this is beautiful, and made me very, very emotional. Yeah, thank you, Eleanor, for making that. I know you're watching. Thank you. You're awesome. Guys, what I'm going to do now is just answer any questions that you guys have. So do feel free to pop your questions into the chat, and I will get to answering those as best as I can, as best as I currently can. But also want to say, we've already got a question. Ryan Trapp, do you have any dream casting for the disciples? No, not at the moment. I think my dream casting is people who are passionate and talented. I think that is my prerequisite, really. People who are just brilliant at what they do and are passionate about telling the story. That would be my dream. I think, actually, to be honest, I think filling the disciples with, or the apostles especially, with famous roles wouldn't quite do the service to these ordinary people who are just filled with the Holy Spirit, and that's what made the difference. So I think what I am excited to do is introduce you guys to a whole host of brilliant actors that you may not know, but you will get to know, and they will be brilliant and they will be wonderful, and I'm sure, love working with them. So yeah, that's my answer for that one. If you expressed interest already, your previous amount is on record. If you want to add that, you can. It's not a formal commitment, so this is moving. So it's not a formal commitment, so you won't be obligated to send anything at this time. Yes, that's correct. I know somebody wanted to, Cecil, you expressed interest during the last live stream. Is it okay to do it again? Yes, absolutely. Expressing interest is not a formal commitment, so you can absolutely express interest again, a new amount. That's absolutely fine. And then when it comes to the point where we open investments, you will then be able to decide how much you actually or don't actually invest. Completely up to you. So do feel free to do that. That is, are you planning on following the order of the Book of Acts? That is a great question. I think yes. But I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that we'd like to explore in terms of some of the characters that aren't mentioned as much. Or, some of the apostles, for instance, aren't really talked about much in the Book of Acts. But it makes me wonder, what might they have done? Who might they have talked to? Where might they have gone? So I'd like to explore those stories as well, of the potential what-ifs. And this whole, Janice, $500 from Michigan. Bless you, Janice. Thank you so much for expressing that interest. And really what we're trying to do here, I know some people have talked about the Chosen as well. And for me, this is not any sort of competition, but it is adding to a chorus of this kind of media being shown to the whole world. If you think over the last 20 years how many different Spider-Men we've had, it's already more than multi-season shows on Jesus or multi-season shows on the Book of Acts. So what I'd love, for instance, is someone like Eleanor one day, who edits such a brilliant video like that, to run her own show about the Bible or about something of faith. I think what we want to do is add to the chorus of media and of shows that glorify God and actually just tell his story, tell his wonderful, life-changing story. That's that. Guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this live stream. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's already expressed their interest. This was an incredible day. I was thinking of setting a target, but whatever I set, you actually blew out the water. So thank you. And if you haven't expressed interest yet, if you're rewatching this, head over to angel.com/testament, where you can express interest. We want to get as many people in, so share this video. Follow us on our Instagram page. Follow us on our Facebook. You can find us at Testament Series or Testament_series or whatever it is. And hey, we'd love to hear stories as well. We'd love to hear what you're most excited about. So if you use the hashtag Testament Series and just do it on Facebook, do it on Instagram, wherever you are, we will find it. We'd love to hear about what stories you are excited to see. Send in a video, send in a comment, whatever it is. We'd love to include it. This is a community that we're building here to tell this story. And we're really excited. I'm really excited to have you guys as a part of that. Thank you, everyone. Again, angel.com/testament to express your interest. But for now, that's me. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another live stream, which you are, I'm sure, going to enjoy. And hopefully no glitches on that one. But hey, I think we did pretty well, and you guys hung in there. Thank you. Hope your fingernails are good. Guys, God bless. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Working with Paul, he's very, very clear in what he wants, which is great for an actor.
From sort of the Zoom calls and some of the rehearsals, there was a warmth there, and you could really feel the passion from Paul about this particular project.
Everybody is just, I don't know, just so relaxed, and everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody seems to be at the top of their game.
There was such a buzz, just such a great vibe between everyone, between cast and crew.
Everyone who's here really wants to be here, and you can feel there's a lot of love on this set, man, and it's quite rare on sets.
Is literally the nicest group of people that I have ever worked with. Everyone's been really lovely, super organised, like really organised.
It's been a blast. It's been a very chilled out kind of set, even though there's been a lot going on and a lot of takes, but it's been a really nice environment. That kind of makes the difference, really.
Yeah, I'm massively grateful for Paul and the opportunity to work on Testament.
3, 2, 1.